Hello, I'm Jash, and welcome back with more Jash Reads. Now, what is Jash Reads? Jash Reads is a series where I read a book cover to cover and discuss it chapter by chapter. Except in this case, this episode is a little different. We are continuing to read my Skyrim Remedy Connected Universe crossover fic called That Part, which is the first part of By My Soul. So yeah, don't worry, before I start reading the chapter, I will give some clarifications on some things. Don't worry, there's not going to be a sex scene, so... yeah, anyways. So... just things that might turn you off of the fic and make you not have a good time with the fic, and I can understand that. I write little Danny! Write little niche fic, so no, I don't mind not everyone liking it. It's fair to not write for everyone, because then it tends to turn into a piece of crap. Come on, Danny. Danny bit chorus and he screamed, so putting her away till after the stream. And besides reading, doing dramatic readings, this series is also about crafting in Minecraft, where for a long time we have been renovating this lovely abode. I think we just have 2 more rooms to go before we have to start traversing again and finding and finding something else to either renovate or build. So, woo! I just saw this lodge and I was like, oh, cool, these are a little rare, so gotta do something with that. Okay. Hang on. Yes. So, where I live, there has been a little killdeer, and a killdeer is a type of bird that's small, that sort of looks similar to those little birds that run on the beach. And today when I looked to see how Mama Bird was doing, because just I can see her little nest out the window, kitchen window, and how killdeer nest is a little different than some species. What they do is they don't actually build a nest, they just find some rocks and lay some eggs there. Okay, I need you to move. And so it's a little unique way to... Okay, it's not thunderstorm. Okay, it's not night. So it's been a little nerve-wracking this time that she's been nesting, because the place she chose to lay her egg was a little round, like cul-de-sac, I think it's called. And so in the middle of it, near the very edges of it, so it was a little So when I didn't see her nesting today, I was like, oh my god, did something happen? Did a car run over her eggs? And today I actually was... And today I changed the bird feeder, you know, filled it up more. And as I was just, you know, doing my thing, and I'm hearing birds chirping, and I'm seeing 2 killdeer, except they're even smaller. Even smaller than an adult. So I was just, oh, she hatched. Oh, she hatched her little babies and was like, oh, she's actually fine and okay. And she just, you know, not in her nest because she got to have a few little kitties of her own. And the last day or two, Brian's been a little bit worried for that mama killdeer because he's like, hey, she doesn't seem to be acting like she normally does. And turns out that was because she was dealing with little, you know, little hatchlings under her. Oh yeah, I can't put anything down on the floor. Oh yeah. Let's get some wool. Okay, that's concrete. That's concrete powder. Okay, come on. Where's the wool? Come on. Where's? Oh, I'm an idiot. Clear this out. Oh shit. I'm going to begin the dramatic reading part when I finally get placing all those blocks down, so bear with me. So, Twitch seems to have a little bit of a little problem. Like, every day it's disconnecting me from YouTube, which ends up making I have to reconnect it, which is easy enough. Then it seems to just fail one export. And then it, you know, takes fucking forever to do any other exports, so I end up having to download and then upload on YouTube. It's annoying as shit, but at least I'm not the only one experiencing the problem. Yay! Misery loves the company. We're gonna have the walls just blue because it's a duck. Seems everyone's experiencing the problem, and this might be because Twitch has made a change of only allowing a certain amount of highlights, which people were using to get around the whole, oh, your video will, you know, just be erased within a week or so. And so everyone's racing to, finish getting their highlights exported. So since that should have been done yesterday. I think yesterday was the new cutoff limit. Hopefully tonight that won't happen, but I'm going to be prepared just in case. Oh, should we have a little ducky buck in the... No. This is a serious... This is totally serial reading fanfic. Ah! Okay. Let me turn down the screen brightness. Holy shit. Okay. Hang on. Let me take a sip of Coke and I will say some things to be warned about in the upcoming chapter. Actually, the fic as a whole. Okay, first things first, if you don't like fanfics, this is probably not going to change your mind. Okay? But hey, you clicked on this video and I announced what it was, so I'm just going to assume that's something I shouldn't really be concerned about, but just in case. Next, this is a crossover fanfic between Skyrim and the Remedy Connected Universe. So, I don't really go into too much detail about either series, and also just don't take this fic to have it be what's correct about canon in either series. And, when I write a fic, I'm writing a fic to tell a good story, so what I actually think about canon can differ from, fanfic, so be aware. This fic also involves its eventual main romance. I mean, there's going to be a major character death, so woo! But the main characters that are, the couple for this fic are a semi-canon, semi-original character. The Dragonborn from Skyrim, and the game's role-playing, so, it's canon that the Dragonborn's canon, but we all have our different stories and ideas about the Dragonborn, so semi-original character with the canon character. So I know that's a put off for some people, so if that's a turn off for... Why did I say put off? A turn off for you, yeah. Also, finally, this fic is told from first person point of view. And for some reason, people don't like first person point of view, so I've had some people honestly tell me that they hate first person point of view, but they like my writing, so do with that what you will. But again, and finally, if at any point you don't find this fic enjoyable, I don't mind if you just click off and do something else you enjoy. Unless you like to hate watch, in which case, hello, I like your views. Yeah. Just don't comment. And okay. And with all that out of the way, let's get to the fic. That part, Chapter 8, The Best of My Heart. Yeah, I said that in a way that does not reflect the contents of the chapter. Holy shit. Anyways, this chapter is told from the point of view of Jash, so woo. Good. Okay, just doing stretches for no reason. Just stop it. Yeah, I was really battling there. Anyways, let's begin. There are two times. The time that is, and the time we feel. The first can't change no matter how we wish it to. It is steady like the fiercest tide. You can't bargain with it. You can't appease it. The second can stretch a single moment into an eternity. You decide how long the second time takes. The only problem is that it is never a conscious decision. The time it took to open the door to Frostflow Lighthouse took less than a blink of an eye, and yet it felt like an eternity. If I opened the door too slow, then Lokir would kill the man I loved above all others. Scout's many marshes, blood would be on my hands, and I couldn't stand the thought. As my blood slowly heated up from the warmth inside, I had a second to look at the scene before me. Lokir had heard me and held Scouts before him. My husband looked weak already, and a few bruises indicated there had been a struggle. The Nord held a dagger to my love's stomach. There was no time for me to act before Lokir made his decision. Lokir brutally stabbed Scouts in the stomach, all the while holding the Saxhleel like a lover. Only when Scouts fell down did the Dark Brotherhood initiates, the former Dark Brotherhood initiates, stop. He wiped his blade before returning it to its scabbard. Scouts was still able to breathe, but I knew he wouldn't be alive for much longer. I wouldn't be able to breathe at all if he died. There was nothing else in this world for me but him. "You found me, listener," Lokir said in the same excited voice Cicero used. "You are a great and mighty listener, Jash. You took the Dark Brotherhood from the ashes and let Sithis' darkness spread." There was such conviction in Lokir's voice that I would have vomited if I wasn't so exhausted. He truly thought he had done something to be proud of. He truly thought that he and he alone knew my wishes. And Scouts was paying the price for my involvement with the Dark Brotherhood. I could have killed the faction, and he would have lived to see another day. "I saw what you really wanted, listener," Lokir continued, saying my title with utter devotion. "I see you for who you truly are, and I am proud to serve Sithis alongside you." Lokir stepped over my husband as if he was just another corpse that was convulsing in a desperate bid for survival, as if moving would prolong death for a few more years. "With this creature's death, I am ready to shed my title of initiate," Lokir said, grinning with his eyes. "I am ready to become a member of the Dark Brotherhood and serve Sithis in this life and in the void." Everything stopped. Time itself seemed to give me a moment to rest, a moment to think, to plan, to do something. But eternity wouldn't help me do more than my base desires dictated. I could keep a person alive for years just to hear their screams of torment. But that kind of patience was foreign to me now. I needed to hear Lokir's final breath and feel his warm blood. Nothing else would ease my soul. "Would not kissed!" I shouted as I took out my sword. I could have easily used just one word of the shout, but it felt so much better to use all three. It had taken a lot of practice to pull off this maneuver, and I was glad I had wasted my time learning it. With the shout's help, I covered the distance to Lokir in less than a blink of an eye, which meant I didn't have much time to act before reaching the Nord. With muscle memory more than conscious thought, I swung my blade the moment I reached Lokir's side. The man didn't have any time to react before his head was rolling along the floor. His face still looked ready to receive my praise. Hopefully Sithis would put the man in his place, as Lokir's fate was no longer ours to decide. Okay, I'm going to get a little sip of Coke. Okay, let me take this moment to see if anyone's chatted. No, they have not. Oh, sorry for bumping into the mic yet again. And now we continue. I turned my gaze from Lokir's head to Scout's many marshes. Before I knew what I was doing, I had knelt down by my husband's side. I propped his head up and felt my blood stiffen from a horrible truth. I was the Archmage of the College of Winterhold. I was one of the most powerful magic users in all Skyrim. With my blade and magic, not much could stop me. Not much. But this, even though I was powerful, I was still a mortal. There were still limits to what I could do. While I had mastered all the schools of magic, there was only so much magicka my body had in it. There was also only so much stress my body could take before I needed to rest so my magicka could be restored. Those limits had been reached. And I didn't know if Serena was alive or still fighting the vampires. Scout was going to die, and there was nothing to live for without him by my side. I gently picked my love up, and he was barely able to respond to me taking him outside into the storm. Just as I went through the door, I felt him put his head on my shoulder. This shouldn't be happening, but at least we would die, side by side. The storm still raged. It made it impossible for me to see more than a few feet. It made it impossible for me to hear anything but the wind. If Serena could see me, she would be rushing to my side. She wasn't. Either the fight still raged or she had died. I sat down with my back against the lighthouse and put Scouts next to me. We leaned against each other as our blood froze and the storm raged on. It is ours to love you, Jash, Scout struggled to say. If not for me, you would see many more sunrises, I replied, unwilling to accept his forgiveness. And I would not have lived a life, not one that would have felt true to me. You nearly ended your life because of me. You were able to change and become a better man. You made our love strong again. You became the man I had married. And now we leave Mundus together. If it was ours to live longer together, I would eagerly welcome it. But I don't regret this end. You're right as always, my love. It is ours to have our time cut short, but it isn't ours to mourn the time lost. I leaned down, and we shared a kiss as our blood froze. As our lips parted, I wished we would find each other in Hercine's hunting fields. I wished that we would open our eyes there and hunt as one. Our large wolf forms sinking teeth into the most admirable prey. Prey that would send most into fits of despair, but sent Hercine's faithful into fits of euphoria. I wished so desperately for that, as it meant this wouldn't be our last moments together. But wishing so deeply for that meant disrespecting Scouts. And in my last moments, I couldn't do that. I accepted that my husband's soul would be embraced by the Hist and emptied for a future Saxhleel. I went to lean in for another kiss, but felt Scouts' last breath leave his lips. At least my blood was now mostly frozen, and Mundus wouldn't mean much to me soon. At least hunting by Hercine's side would eventually make this everlasting pain fade with time. For a few minutes, though, the pain would be all there was. The tears that rained from my face froze quicker than my blood. And that's the end of that really lovely, happy, chipper chapter. Oh, God, I actually teared up there. God. Good. Good about sometimes when I cry, it starts to burn my eyes a little bit, so glad that didn't happen. Okay, let me get all set up here. Okay, and the sun rising. Yay! Happy! Okay. Oh, yeah, not placed now. Yeah, this is definitely a very pivotal moment in the in my little fic trilogy. Just yeah, Scouts died. Now, I really wish in Skyrim there were more Argonian and Scouts is the only male Argonian to marry. Well, technically there's Dirkethus, but the problem with him is that he's bug as hell. So, yeah, right now, hands down, Scouts is my favorite person to marry. I've only made 2 characters, and since you can't divorce and try to marry everyone, like in Stardew Valley, I've only married 2. But I find that when I'm doing little adventures in Skyrim, just returning home just, brings me utter joy. So whenever I return to the whatever home I've placed Scouts Many Marshes in, I just feel utterly happy, like, yay! I get to see my family. Unlike this fic, I also have 2 kids in the game. So the reason they're not in the fic is because, like, before writing this fic, I wrote another sillier, what's called a crack fic, where it's just like, yay, I'm just going to do this for the lulz, basically. And it became more serious than I intended, and it starts off with the family dead. And since I was writing this fic so close, like I had finished writing that fic, and so I just didn't really want to kill off family twice in a row, so yeah, that's why they're not here. It's just the dog and the husband. So, not scouts. Jash is heavily injured, but he's not at that critical point of he is definitely going to die. He's definitely at the point where if he can wait a little bit for Serena to make her way to Frostflow Lighthouse to heal him. So but the reason he goes outside, with scouts, isn't because, oh, I know I'm 100% going to die, and so I just want to be with my husband as I do. He's going outside to freeze to death, and yes, Argonians are cold-blooded. And you can ask anyone who has played an Argonian in survival mode how quickly they freeze. It's definitely... I would not recommend playing Argonian survival mode unless you've played survival mode for a little bit, or you're used to Skyrim. Because, yeah, I made the switch to survival mode good ways into my first game, and I think that's the only reason I was able to not instantly freeze to death whenever there was a slightly cold wind. Holy shit, so... I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, good. Let's do some light blue. I'm gonna do light blue up here now so I don't end up trapping myself. Too bad. So yeah, so Jash going out to, freeze to death with his husband. At least that's the plan. But, there's going to be more chapters of the fic and also 2 more parts of this trilogy, so, obviously that's not going to happen. But the intent was that he just couldn't imagine a world in which he lived without his husband. So he was just like, okay, I'm so sad, I'm just going to do this. And in this chapter I talk about two different afterlives. The first, for followers of her scene, I talk about the hunting fields. And each Daedric prince has their own little plane of oblivion, basically. If we're going to very simplify everything, which, you know, this isn't a big lore video, so obviously we're not going to delve too deeply into things. And the hunting fields are her scene's plane of oblivion. You know, if you're a werewolf, yeah, that's... Just realized something. Actually, no. It's not really too bad. So if you're like, become a werewolf, becoming a werewolf isn't simply, oh cool, I'm a werewolf, huzzah! It's now your soul is promised to her scene, and after your death, you go to her scene's hunting fields. Now, each race in Skyrim gets its own little bit of an afterlife. And for... not the hiss, for... for the Saxleals, also known as Argonians, their afterlife is that their souls are returned to the hiss. The hiss. Yeah, hiss. And so that's what's going to happen to Scout's many marshes. He will, you know, after being buried in the earth, they'll connect him to the Hist, and then his soul will be returned to the Hist, and it's sort of like a deep wash, but for a soul. That's what happens with the Argonians. It's like a little deep wash of the soul. And because Jash's soul is going to her scene because he's a werewolf. So him and Scouts are going to different places. And, you know, both came to terms to that, you know, before dying. Like, writing this chapter, like, writing Scouts dying, I was just like, am I just getting... I felt a little bad, because I felt like I'm just getting Scouts out of the way for this romance I want to write about. Even though I still love Scouts, I was just like... I was honestly very conflicted, eventually, and... that's actually a big influence why, once we get to the third and final part of this trilogy, I did what I did. But, you know, no spoilers! Yeah. And for those unfamiliar with Skyrim and are wondering about the shout, that was a canonical shout. And God, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it basically makes you move really fucking quickly. And unlike this fic, where, you know, Jash is able to control what he does, you know, in between point A and B, that is not the case in the game. The game, you use the shout, you point yourself in one direction, and boom, you are there. So yeah. It's a useful shout. Getting to certain places. Okay, after I do this room, I think, yeah, we're gonna have been done renovating this, and we're gonna have to look for other places. Oh my god. They all actually do add-ons that have dragons and shit, but anyways. Let's see. What should I... Okay, 2. 1, 2. Let's see, not a chapter for this chapter. Let's think about... Let's see a question for this video. Let's see. Okay. What do you think about writing major character deaths in fan fiction? And also, you know, what would you consider a major character death? Oh, please. Comment down below. So let's... in case something stupid happens, let's not have a lot of flammable stuff there. Yeah, comment down below, let me know, and also you know, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And before I get to before I get to talking about the links, which I'm about to do, a few little words of warning. The first is, of course, some of these links are Amazon associate links, which means I get paid a little something if you buy from them. So, you know, just be very aware of that fact. So you get to help support some creators, you know, some writers, developers, yada yada yada. And at the same time, you're also able to support me, your favorite YouTuber, right? Right? Yep. Okay. And if you're watching this live on Twitch, please be aware that these links will be in the description shortly after. shortly after this stream. So. Okay, so how about we get into the whole getting these links out of the way so I can go to the bathroom, because yay, that's only happened. The first link is to, of course, God damn it. We're saying sorry. So, the first link is, to, of course, to my fic, that part, on Archive of Our Own. So, if you want to experience the fic without my horrible reading of it, ta-da! Yay! That's the way to do it. Also, now feel free to give it a kudos. And unfortunately, you can only do 1 kudos per chapter, so yeah. And I'm much further along in the fic on AO3 than in this dramatic reading. Like, we are nearing the end of the fic. I'm gonna be so, honestly, so fucking glad when I can just work on a short chapter where not much happens. Because the last chapter I wrote, I was like, oh my god, it's long. There's so much plot. Ah! Okay, we have finished doing this renovating, so we will make our way down. I'm gonna be so glad to work on a short chapter again. And the next link is to buying your very own copy of Skyrim. This is the anniversary edition upgrade, so would definitely recommend. I tend to play Skyrim every night. It's a nightly thing. There's a lot to do in the game. There's different races have different benefits, different choices you can make. So, and the next link is to Alan Wake 2. I am a big fan. I was gonna say Elder Scrolls, sound like wrong series. I'm a big fan of the Remedy Connected Universe. It's a the lore of the series gets extremely complicated fast, but it's the second game is made for new and old players alike. Like there's there's 2 playable characters, Saga Anderson and Alan Wake. Alan Wake is really more there for those of us who've played the previous games, while Saga Anderson is really there to help ease you into everything, so you don't get too overwhelmed too fast. And there's a whole big musical number that's basically there just to recap, what's happened so far in the series, so. Oh, I could find so much more here. Okay, let's rest here and then go down the rest of this. I'm just so glad we finally renovated this. Whee! Okay, the next clip. Okay. Next link is to my Twitter. I am Jashikins on Twitter. And so if you want to talk to me about your theories about the Remedy connected universe, tell me about your recent Skyrim playthroughs, Minecraft. I didn't really do anything. Not much here. Like, I think I might have just placed vines here. I'm not sure I did anything. Now, if you wanted to talk to me about... Oh, I don't think I really got to this room. Oh, well. Oh god, I love this one. There you go. Okay. Let's see, and the next link is to my Patreon. Now, the Patreon helps support this stream, all my other streams, everything, odd thing I'm doing on my blog, and of course the books I'm releasing. Oh god, it's like an army of bees. Cuteness. Oh, sorry, got distracted just looking around. Let's see. ADD's great, man. So, yeah. And currently there are 2 tiers on Patreon. The first is a $1 tier where you get to see all my lovely Redbubble designs before I release them to the world. You get to see them first. And the $5 tier where you get to see all my book cover designs before, you know, I release them to the world. Let's see, what else? What else? Oh yeah, and if you do... I didn't do anything with this floor. Ah, wasted potential. Oh yeah, I was there before. Let's see, let's see. Oh yeah, and whenever I'm about to release one of my Kafka's Men books, you get to read the first chapter for free. Yeah. And what is Kafka's Men? I am so glad no one in the chat asked. Kafka's Men is the final link, and it is my reverse harem series. A very, very slow burning reverse harem series. So if you like your reverse harems, you know, you like your romance, so going at such a slow pace that glaciers are just run at the speed of light compared to them, you'll like it. It's also a grim, dark superhero story series, so you get some nice romance, some nice angst, and you also get some body horror because the lead character, Kafka, morphs. So, terror. Hee hee. And those are all the links, and we will, since this took such a long time to renovate, we will slowly... Actually, my player's telling me to go quickly, dear lords. To see all that we did. And, you know, if you saw the beginnings of me starting this whole grand journey of renovating this, yeah, it took a while, so if you're still here after all that, thank you. Thank you so much. I think I like bees, folks. I think when I began this, I'm gonna have like each room for one of the animals, and as you can see, this quickly changed to... I'm just going to I'm just going to go with whatever vibe I'm feeling that day. The shroom room. Woo. This was nice to work with. I'll just go with the vibes. Okay, before I, quit this stream, I am going to make a final touch, just so I can find this place after, after I start leave and wandering. Maybe build roads to like every major location. We're going to need... Okay, scholarly, dude. Okay, map. Photography table. Need that. Okay, let me actually make sure about how I can copy a map, because it's been a while. How do I make a copy of a map in Minecraft Bedrock? an extra piece of paper, your map, and a cartography table. Okay, let's do this. Okay, come on. Here we go. Empty map. Empty locator map. That's what we want. Oh shit. Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah. God damn it. I forgot how everything works all of a sudden. Oh fuck. God damn it. What do my controls do? I have no idea. Oh fuck. Wrong one. Wrong kind. My heart's in the right place, folks. Okay, and we're actually still about to look around here. Oh, it... It's actually nighttime. Okay, we're going to need the daytime to do this next part. Bedroom around here somewhere. We've passed by bedrooms. God damn it. Bedroom, bedroom, bedroom. Okay, just because I did some stuff, if you've been here a while, you know I did some stuff around the house, around the lodge. Oh fuck, I shouldn't be trusted with anything. Pretty still there. So you see is, okay, we're gonna have to get a little distance away from the lodge, but it basically marks it on the map. But unlike Bedrock and Java Edition, you can't actually see anything. I mean, you can see things, you just can't name them. So yeah. So I did these little fields. Did I actually hide that? Oh yeah, I did. I put a horse. Yeah. Okay, I did that very well. Just while working, I knew exactly what I was doing. I didn't think it was hidden at all. Yay. This aviary is the first thing we ever worked on. Because Tobias is a bird, so aviary. And that's why you've been hearing can't really see any birds. But yeah, that's where the flapping has been coming from. If they're not there, they're not there. This was made to be a nice little, place, where meetings were held, so. Okay, we've done a good job, folks. We've renovated this little building here, and I do not know where I will go next. I have no clue. Just find somewhere else that interests me and we'll go from there. So you're going to have to watch the next episode, Jash Reads, to figure out what the hell I do next. And again, thank you to everyone who's kept up with this series so far. And a big shout out to everyone who was there when I found the mansion and started renovating it. And until next time, whenever that may be, shit, this is probably the longest episode Jash Reads so far because after renovating, we went through everything, Anyways, until next time, whenever that may be, goodbye.